Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody. Well, we will be diving into AWS. This course will equip you with knowledge and hands-on experience needed to not only ace the exam, but implement real-world machine learning solutions in AWS. So whether you're a data scientist, a developer, or solutions architect, this certification will validate your expertise in building, training, and deploying machine learning models using AWS services. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Ibrahim Malik. I'm an AWS certified solutions architect professional. I also hold AWS certifications as an AI practitioner and machine learning specialist. I have extensive experience implementing, complex solutions both on-prem and on AWS. And throughout my career, I have helped organizations leverage cloud platforms, cloud services to solve complex business problems. But in this course, we'll combine both theoretical knowledge with practical exercises. I'll ensure you are well prepared for both the certification exam and real world scenarios. I've structured this course to balance conceptual understanding with hands on experiences. I would highly recommend that you watch all the stories from the front line. Those stories will not only help you have a good conversation, healthy conversation in the job interview, but you may see many of those scenarios and you appear in your exam, obviously worded differently. But if you understand the concept, there is no reason why you should not be able to knock this test out. Okay. All right, so let's break down the exam structure. The AWS ML specialty exam tests your knowledge across four crucial domains. Okay, so I follow Amazon's exam guide to the T because I believe that if you follow their rubric, the chances of you succeeding will be much higher, right? It's a lot better than just getting an exam dump, buying exam dump from somewhere, and just trying to memorize 300, 400 questions. That does not, at least it doesn't work for me and many other students that I work with. Okay, the as I said, it has four crucial domains. Data engineering comprises of 20%, covering preparation and processing. Exploratory data analysis makes up about 24%. Focusing on feature engineering and statistical analysis. Modeling is the largest domain at 36%, testing your understanding of machine learning algorithms and training processes. So I would spend good amount of time. If you have issues, go back, watch the video, do some hands-on practices, ask a question put a comment, ask a question. Be happy to help you, work with you on this, okay? And finally, ML implementation and operations accounts for 20%. All right. So if you think about it, it's built like a building, right? The first 20% covers data preparation and processing because that's the first thing you do, right? You have to prepare data. Then the second domain is exploratory data analysis. That's the second thing you do. You explore your data and we'll focus on feature engineering and we'll talk about a lot of those. Then once you've done that, right? Once you've done the EDA process, then you go into modeling, right? So modeling, again, is the largest domain, right? So we will work on it together, how some of those algorithms and how to train them. And finally, implementation, right? Once you have done these three things, right? Then you'll do your machine learning implementation and operations. Operations would be keeping it up. Is your model as good as it first started, or is it losing its steam, right? So all of those things are part of operation. Plus security is and AI responsibility, a critical part of that operation, right? So this exam consists of 65 questions. It takes about 180 minutes, and to pass, you need 750 out of 1,000. Okay. All right. So the exam covers several AWS ML services. At the core is Amazon SageMaker, which is an Amazon AWS's flagship machine learning platform. You'll need to understand its components, including Studio IDE for development, built-in algorithms for training, ground truth for data labeling, and model monitor for production monitoring. We'll also cover AI services like rekognition and computer vision, comprehend for natural language processing, Forecast services, including AWS Glue for ETL, Athena for querying data, kinesis for streaming processes, and S3 for storage. So understanding how these services work together is crucial for the exam. And therefore, I would very highly recommend that go and try out all of these services that we will be talking about. Okay. All right. So let's discuss the recommended study plan. How should you do it to actually get a good grade, right? I suggest following, giving yourself about 8 weeks for thorough preparation. Start with data engineering in weeks 1 and 2. Focus on ETL processes and data processing, and move to exploratory data analysis in weeks 3 and 4, and cover statistical analysis and feature engineering. Do a deeper dive in some of those areas. Then dedicate weeks 4 to 6 to modeling. That's the largest domain where you'll learn about algorithm selection and model training. And finally, use week 6 and 8 for implementation and operations. And by that, you will have mastered deployment strategies and monitoring solutions. And remember to practice, 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 right? Hands on AWS services throughout your preparation. Moving on. So AWS provides extensive resources for exam preparation. Let's start with the official documentation. I have added here in the resources, particularly the SageMaker Developer Guide, which I've also provided you here, which I will also include, and service-specific FAQs, right? Key white papers include machine learning lens of the AWS well-architected framework and machine learning ops best practices. I will provide you these resources. Take advantage of AWS workshops for hands-on practices. I'll show you some links and show you how you can get on those mailers as well. And regularly review the AWS Machine Learning blog for real-world implementation. Okay. You can also follow my LinkedIn post. I usually post articles around artificial intelligence as well. So the practice exam that you will find at the end of this course is very valuable. You have to, I know it takes time, but try doing all of them. First, watch all the videos that you see at the end of the section, which with the label stories from the front line. So I will share my stories, and those stories are very tightly knitted with the exam questions that you're going to see in the exam. All right. So as I said earlier, right, before we begin, let's ensure you have everything needed for success. Okay, you will need an active AWS account. I'm assuming that you have it. Don't worry, we'll use free tier resources where possible, and I'll show you. If you don't have an account, I have a video. I'll show you how to set up your account. Ensure you have basic Python programming skills and fundamental machine learning knowledge. Okay, learning Python is not that difficult. I can show you some tools, and there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of actually AI Gen AI tools that you could use for Python as well. Okay, and you don't need to be an expert. You just need to have the basic knowledge, right? You need to understand what you're doing there. So, well, we'll set up your dev environment with AWS CLI. Start playing around with that. Stay SageMaker Studio. I'll show you how to use that, and I'll show you how to integrate IAM permissions, right? And because that's a big part, you need to understand what are the identity and access management and the identity center configurations that you need to do. And familiarize yourself with Jupyter Notebook as well, right? So I use Jupyter as well, and I highly recommend using it. I mean, if you have something else, that's fine, but I will be following Jupyter. All right. So as I said earlier, right, this course I've curated it to combine theory and extensive hands-on practice, as well as I have focused on anecdotes of the industry real stories that you can listen to. Hopefully you would remember them because they will be very useful to you when you're ready to take your exam, and also extremely helpful when you go for your job interviews. Okay, so each section includes concept explanations, service deep dives, best practices, And each section has your question and answer quizzes. Last section has the complete. Each section has the stories from the front line, and the last section has all the questions. All right. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.